Hello everyone and welcome to Twitch Tales Holiday Special 2024. Welcome in. As with usual, this time of year we are going to do a bit of a one-shot, bit of a silly one-page RPG aside from our usual Dungeons & Dragons games. Today we are playing a one-page RPG called Sexy Battle Wizards by Grant Howitt. It's a very exciting, very silly game where you are playing a character with just 3 stats: Sexy, Battle and Wizard, and everything you come across can be fixed with Charming, Harming or Wizarding. Is there a word for wizard or arcane or spell that rhymes with charm and harm? Charming, harming and sparming. We're playing Sexy Battle Wizards. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's jump into it and we'll explain how it works on as we go. So, people in chat, you are controlling this character. We know nothing about them as yet, so let's work out who they are and what they are and make some decisions. The first decision we are going to have to make, I'm going to put it to a poll immediately, is which is our highest stat. So which of these is our highest stat? Is it going to be Sexy, is it going to be Battle, or is it going to be Wizard? As written on the sheet, it says, you are a sexy battle wizard. You're a member of the College Errant, an organisation based in a magic flying castle that roves the land looking to avert arcane disasters and fight injustices. You have precisely 0 authority to do this. The cops hate you. You are wanted in several countries for collateral damage caused while saving the world. You have 3 stats. Sexy is to charm cuties with your slick style and rockin' bod. Battle is to harm your foes with mighty martial prowess. And Wizard is to weave the eldritch arts of magic. One of them is going to be a 1, meaning anytime you attempt to check using that stat, you get to roll 1d6. One of them is a 2, which means you get to roll 2d6. And one of them is a 3, which means you get to roll 3d6. And you just take the highest number of whichever dice you roll. So which is our highest stat, which is, in other words, which is going to get 3 dice whenever we're rolling things in that stat. Alright, looks like we are going to put a 3 into our sexy stat. So we have a 3d6 in sexy, baby. Which is our middle stat. Is it going to be Battle or is it going to be Wizard? This one's going to get 2d6, so whenever you're doing a check using this stat, you're going to roll 2d6, and then you're going to take the highest of the numbers, and you need to get a 4, 5, or 6, depending on what the DC of the check is. If it's a really easy check, maybe I'll make it a DC 3 even. Okay, ooh, it's looking like Wizard's coming in. Wizard's sitting at 69%, nice. Alright, oh, just changed at the end there. With 70%, people decide Wizard is going to be our second stat. We've got 2d6 in Wizard, which puts a 1d6 in Battle. So we are a sexy wizard who kind of battles, I guess. So the next thing to decide is, what makes us so sexy? Boop! And we get our 3d6, 1d6, 2d6, and a dice cam. Firstly, we are rolling a sexy dice. Which one of these is sexy? This one's pretty sexy. Okay, we are going to determine what makes us so sexy with a single d6 roll. Brah! 6! So with a 6 on the sexy die, we get Dangerous Rebel with a cool jacket. Are we happy with Dangerous Rebel with a cool jacket? Thumbs up in the chat. If you want me to re-roll and pick something else, put thumbs down in the chat. Ooh, it was me in my teens. Nice. Most people are happy with cool, what was it? Dangerous Rebel with a cool jacket. And then we decide on the signature weapon for the sake of the battle stat. So we'll go with the honey one first. Is a 6 and a 7. Or is that a 4? No, 6 and a 4. With a 6 and a 4, we have a Fey Jezzail. I don't know what a Jezzail is. What's a Jezzail? G-E-Z-I-A-L. Oh, it's like a musket. Like a rifle. It's an Arab musket with an Italian barrel. What? An Afghan long rifle. Jeez Louise. Okay, we've got a Fey Jezzail. A Fey musket. Are we okay with a Fey musket, or do we want to re-roll? Thumbs up for Fey musket. Thumbs down for re-roll it. All right, most people would prefer to re-roll this one. All right, maybe it's just guns don't feel very on brand. Let's re-roll that. Boom. We get a 3 and a 3. This time we get an Umbral Whip. Do we feel good about Umbral Whip? Hell yeah, a lot of people are excited about Whip. Alright, Umbral. Umbral is a fully shaded inner region of a shadow. So like a very dark, shadowy whip. Turning into a dark Indiana Jones here. Alright, we are good with Umbral Whip. And then what's next? Let's see. The last part of our character creation is obviously pertaining to Wizard. The last part is, what is your magical school? Which one of these dice feels magical? Let's go with the purple one. Purple's magic. Alright. What's our magical school? 1. We are of the Law of Light. Are we okay with the Law of Light? Ooh, people up and down on this one. To give you full disclosure then, before you vote, I'll tell you the 6 magical schools that you could roll. Number 1 is Law of Light. Number 2 is Path of Beasts. Number 3 is Secrets of Occult Shadowmancy. Number 4 is Arcana of the Supreme Doorway. Number 5 is Art of Hyperdimensional Splendor. And number 6 is Way of 10,000 Mirrors. Take Law of Light. 55% of you saying yes, we are going to stick with Law of Light. Alright, so we are a dangerous rebel with a cool jacket, Umbral Whip, and light magic. Just for flavour then, I guess, rather than anything else. What are we? Are we human? Are we an elf? Are we a dwarf? Are we a cool gnome in a jacket? Are we an orc? A dragonborn? Just so I can keep it within the world of Dungeons & Dragons-ish. In the world of Rin. A cool gnome, rebellious, dangerous gnome in a cool jacket with a whip. Halfling, orc, gnome, elf, tiefling. I think those were the first 5 offered. So let's chuck those in. Alright, last few seconds to decide. Ooh, it's going to come down to gnome or tiefling, it seems. Sexy short king, let's go. Christmas gnome, yeah. Tiefling, nice horns to go with the leather jacket, yeah. That would be pretty badass. Horns and a goatee and pupilless eyes. Got that devilish charm. Light magic. You got the light shines out from your pupilless eyes or something.
Well, badass gnome. Hey baby, how you doing? Hey baby, you know what's best about being with a gnome? I don't even have to get on my knees. I'm already the right height for you, hon.
Alright, 53%, very close, but 53% of the vote going with gnome. So we're a dangerous rebel gnome with a cool jacket, umbral whip, and light magic. And then I guess we need to know what gender are we?
Hear me do a sexy gnome voice. Like, make it deep and gravelly, but also has this nasal quality kind of thing. And like if you lift the larynx, it gives it this squeaky sort of thing. But you can actually make quite a deep voice, but still kind of squeaky. A deep squeak, baby. Oh, maybe you can even make it sexy if it's like this. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Alright, we came in at 44% female, 38% male, and 19% non-binary. So we did not get a majority on this. So we're going to drop non-binary and go back to preferential voting with female-male. If we're female, I still want her to have a mustache. Yeah, a couple seconds left. Boom! 55% male. Alright. Is there anything else we need to know about this guy? His name, I guess. What's this sexy gnome's name? Obviously bisexual. I assume for sexy battle wizards, most characters are going to be like Pan. Just so you got more choice. You got more choice of who you can hit on.
Squeaky isn't sexy. Sounds like a challenge to me. Sounds like a challenge to make Squeaky into a sexy voice.
The good thing about gnomes is they love names, so we don't have to decide on a name. We can just use them all. I can fit one more in. Vivian. We are Raoul Herbert, Dean Dunce, Frank Roundabout, Vivian Flip Nesbon, a dangerous rebel male gnome with a cool jacket, umbral whip, and light magic. Boom, that's who we're playing today. First of his name. This is why the Fiend only goes by the Fiend, because he has so many names that don't sound intimidating. Quite probably. Yay, Vivian got in there. Yeah, you were the last one to fit into the only space that I had left. All right, what is the plot for today? Well, we're going to roll on the table and find out. Some of this is going to remain secret. I'm going to roll in secretly for a disaster that is currently befalling, and then I'm going to roll for a second disaster that is potentially going to unfold. Okay. And then, what's this place going to be like? The place where you are having the disasters, I guess. Okay, I like that. Okay, we can make that work. What would that mean? What would this be? Okay, I can actually fit that into my world pretty well. And then this one, what's going to stand in our way? Ooh, okay, this works. I need to look up something in a second to remind myself of something in my world. And then last one. Okay, there we go. And why? Why are they that way? Why are they that way? Ooh, okay. Cool. And then I need a name for that NPC. Sexy, muscly wizard. What would a sexy, muscly wizard be called? Like Sven? Zakon. Hold on to that thought, Jen Ren. Sven Nimbus. I've chosen. There we go. Sven Nimbus. Yeah, I need one more. I need another NPC. Let's go with how do I poll you on this? What's the sexiest furry? Or sexiest, because they've got different names for like scalies and things. What's the sexiest animal? What's the sexiest anthropomorphic animal? Fox, because they're foxy. Alright, yeah, makes sense. Bit on the nose for the name, but hey, silly games like this is gonna make sense. Alright, cool. I think we're good. That means that we are going to do that, and then I just need to look up the name of that thing. I need to remind myself of that thing that exists in my world. Oh god, where is it? I think that guy would be this one, so I'll just go with that for now. And then that means, why would he be wanting to stand in your way? Because of this and this, what is he intending on doing? He's trying to do that, which means he's actually involved with this. Ooh, okay. Oh, that's going to have repercussions for Apis if we do that. This could lead into Apis's next arc, actually. Okay, yeah, I think that works. Cool, I think we're good. This is supposed to be low pressure, we don't have repercussions on Apis. It's too late, it's happened. I've rolled things, and in order to fit it into my world and try and understand why certain things are included, why certain things would be the certain way they are, it makes sense for what's happening. Your actions will have no repercussions on Apis' story. The repercussions on Apis' story have just happened. They're locked in now. What you do in this episode will have no repercussions. Well, not none, but... So, how does this begin? Let's see. Raoul Flip Nesbon. Flip is a nickname. I've just decided. Don't know why. Just is. Raoul Flip Nesbon. Yo, Flip.
A deep voice. You want Nesbon to have a real deep voice, real deep and sort of resonant voice as well. Or do you want it deep but also kind of up here, deep and nasal? Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Flip. Because I flip you over.
Spanish as well.
Signore. Hello, my name is Raoul. My name is Raoul Herbert. Dean Dunce Frank Roundabout Vivian Flip Nesbon. I'm a dangerous rebel with a cool jacket and an umbral whip. Nasal is much more gnomish, señorita. Hola, ¿cómo estás, señorita? Found it. Done. We
did it. Mwah.
Raoul, as per usual, you find yourself on the floating castle tower, the basis and headquarters, as it were, of the College Errant. The College Errant is a small organisation, a faction, if you will, of borderless adventurers. You see yourselves as heroes of the land. You are not tied to any one particular locale, no one particular government. You don't have to answer to any particular monarch or power. You fly where you feel. Fly free, wherever you wish. And your floating castle is that of a cloud giant. Who is your cloud giant? Let's see. Are they mostly sexy, mostly battle, or mostly wizard? They're mostly sexy. The NPCs that I'm rolling for this particular geezer is mostly sexy. All right, so this one is it's a cloud giant that is sexy, battle, and then wizard. So they're not as wizard as they are sexy. They're not as wizard as they even are battle. Let's see. Sexy, battle, wizard. Let's see. Male, female, or non-binary. Male. A sexy, battle wizard, male, cloud giant. And what are they called? What's like the owner of the castle? They're not the leader of the faction. I've already rolled for them. George, King George. I think he's against the idea of. I think he's against the idea of kings, so he's not king for sure. Elder. Crag. I like Crag. What's the giant that we always say in the trivia bit? The Yal Cryotaint. Cryotaint. Yal Cryotaint for sure. Okay, his name's Yal Cryotaint, which is funny because he's a cloud giant, not a frost giant. So I feel like it should be Yal Cumulotaint. That sounds way worse. What's another cloud? Yal Cloud Taint. What's a Yal Fog Taint? Cryotaint seems to work a lot less gross than Nimbus Taint. Wispy Taint. Yal Fart Cloud. Yal Cirrus Taint. Cirrus Taint's pretty good. That seems like it flows a little. Yal Cirrus Taint. You fly around, as per usual. You find yourself in the floating castle of Yal Cirrus Taint, the headquarters of the College Errant, an organisation based in flying magical castles. What your tasks are somewhat sporadic and unpredictable. Not only because of how they come in, because very few people know about your organisation or know to drop the S. Cirrataint. Cirrataint works better, yeah. Cirrataint. Yal Cirrataint. Not only because your organisation is relatively unknown, and so jobs come in relatively sporadically. It's just through word of mouth, essentially. But also, out of necessity, you need to be unpredictable in your movements because the authorities of various different countries do not recognise you as an adventuring guild. You're not officially documented as any of the factions that can exist because you don't tie yourself to any one country, and you don't you sort of don't see you don't recognise their authority to hand out licenses to be factions. You're not a registered business, as it were. And so the authorities tend to see you as a vigilante crime organisation more than adventurers, and being that you cause a lot of collateral damage in most places that you go, you're often hunted by the local police forces or the Knights of Kvosner or whoever the local government, local law enforcements are. Today, however, the job has come in that takes you to, not only to Peor, the continent towards the south of the world, but to an island on Peor called Drenwheel in the kingdom of Serentil. The kingdom of Serentil is mostly human. It's run by a King Daemon, King Daemon of House Winchester. And as far as people hunting you down goes, it's one of the places that you can feel a little bit more relaxed. You don't want to be completely letting your guard down, but you know that they have bigger fish to fry, and they don't tend to see you as a huge threat there. Maybe because you haven't done massive collateral damage to anywhere in this particular country. And so you are floating in that direction. The job has come in to head to Drenwheel, in particular because it seems like a sleeping stone behemoth beneath the... Let's see, did it say where? A stone behemoth is awakening beneath a city, and you need to deal with it. That sounds like a job for the college errant. And so as you're heading towards, as Jarl Siritaint is heading the castle towards the island of Drenwheel, you are in a meeting, a debrief, a pre-brief. You're in a pre-brief meeting with the head of the college errant, a sexy wizard battle woman who is an anthropomorphic fox, and her name's Vixen. Vixen is the head of the college errant, and she's an anthropomorphic fox person who is mostly sexy, a little wizard, and then a touch of battle. She's kind of walking you through the what to expect. What do you have for her? What questions do you have for her? What do you need to know? we start with. So we enter the room. We enter the meeting. Like,
so I just wanna ask. Wait, no, Spanish. Hello, I think of Antonio Banderas. Hey, Vixen, how you doing?
And she goes, fucking sexy fox woman. What does a fox sound like? Fuck knows.
Sort of a. She's got. I think fox also has this sort of almost. She goes, hey, Raoul, I'm doing pretty good. How you doing? Hey, no, let's not get distracted again. We got things to discuss. What does the fox say? Nice. We got things to discuss. We got a whole meeting planned. I've got to debrief us before we arrive. And Jarl says that it's only going to be a few hours before we get to the borders of Kingdom of Serentil. Okay?
HR will be involved in no time. She is HR.
So what do you need me for, huh? She says, well, you're gonna be my man on the ground, as it were, yeah? Where we're going, people like me, we don't fit in so well. She's also Spanish, I've decided. It makes it easier to switch. Where we're going, people like me, we don't go fit in so well. Not as well as we fit in over Triocoksha. In Peor, they're not so used to my kind, yeah? But you, sexy gnome like you fit in real good, especially because we're going to the mountains. And so rock gnomes, they fit in real well there. There's a city that we're going to. It's called, and she brings up like a map on the wall, like a projected map from a gemstone. It projects a map up onto the wall. You see down the center of the island we're going to, the island of Drenwheel. There is the Drenwheel Rangers, they're known as. And there's a city in the center of the island, in the center of the ranges. It's a dwarven mining city called Stanhan. And there's a lot of dwarves there, yeah, a lot of humans too, but there are a few rock gnomes, so I think you can fit in nice. You might just have to kind of be aware of not sounding like you're outsider, yeah?
Yeah, don't worry, baby, I can fit in wherever I'm. Now I'm French, I don't know. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
This is a difficult voice.
Deep,
but squeaky. Deep, squeaky, but also Spanish.
Think puss in boots. I will keep it on the down low.
He's a well-travelled Eurotrash gnome. Yeah, he's just kind of got he's got an accent that just kind of goes across Peor. All right, so some of it's from Gaul, that's French. Some of it's from well, I can't remember what my Spanish is called, or what my Spain is called. He's Puss in Boots with a jacket and a whip. Yeah. Accent is actually all for looks. Yeah. He's actually he puts on whatever accent that's part of his sexy charm. Raoul puts on sexy charm of pretending like he's from all places. I think with names like Herbert, Dean, and Frank, he's actually English. He's actually got an English. Get Esconejo, thank you. He's actually English, but he puts on Raoul. He gave himself the name Raoul because he thinks Spanish is sexier. He thinks that people from Esconejo are known to be sexier.
His actual voice is something like this. Yeah, he's actually Scout. Like, if he ever talks for real, this is what Raoul sounds like, and his name's Herbert.
But he found that Herbert wasn't very sexy. So when he went into when he went through school, when he moved away from home and he went to university, he decided it was time for sort of like a rebrand, and he wanted to be seen as like a sexy man. So he got himself a cool jacket, and he started calling himself Raoul. And he went with like putting his he lowered his voice like this, and then he was like, "Oh, but Scouse is not really." And then he went into like a Spanish thing, and so he puts on this, and then he puts on like Antonio Banderas, and so he speaks like this, but it's all an act. So it slips between French and Spanish. Boom, canon. Just canonizing my inability to stick with fucking Spanish. That's how he talks to himself in the mirror before practicing his accent for the day. That's his Tinder profile. Alright. So, you're in this meeting with Vixen, the fox lady, and she's showing you a map. Like, here's Stanhon. It's a pretty large city in Drenwil, mostly dwarven mining, quite a lot of humans there. You'll blend in as a rock gnome as well. And she warns you that it's quite an old city. It's been around for a long time. And with dwarves and their abilities with mining and such, they've carved out a huge chunk of the city below the city itself, and so they've got quite an extensive sewage system as well. Not only sewage, but catacombs. They've got certain sewage systems that run under the city, and they've also got a whole bunch of sort of old city. The current city is built on top of the old city, and so there's kind of abandoned areas underneath the city. There's places where the old dwarven king is buried, and recently she says they had problems regarding demon books. Apparently, some demon books were stolen from a collector's library, and then they were distributed throughout Stanhon. And whenever any person came into contact with one of these books, they started being compelled to read the books, and the books were written in Abyssal, but yet even people who didn't speak Abyssal could magically read them, and they would start chanting from these books, and if nobody was around to stop them for the first minute or few minutes, through chanting from these books, they would open portals that would bring demons through, and there's a whole bunch of problems in the city. Thankfully, she debriefs you, clicks to the next slide on the projected gemstone, and she explains that thankfully there was an adventuring group, apparently called the Blue Steel Troop, that came through and dealt with these books, and sort of managed to collect them, fight off a whole bunch of the demons, and sort of push them back. Got these books back into the hands of the authorities. But one of these books was found in the underground of the city, not as far down as the Underdark, just surface level underground, and it was a book to the demon lord Baphomet, and he is all about beasts and minotaurs and such, and it had summoned a few minotaurs into the sewage systems. The Blue Steel Troop dealt with this minotaur problem, but it seems like there's still some sort of weird magics happening under the city because of sort of residual effects of this demon book. And so there's a large statue of one of the old gods before people worshipped the current gods. One of the old gods there's like an abandoned temple underground, and word has it that there is some unpleasant magics happening around that statue, and people are worried that it's going to come to life and start destroying the underground, which might weaken the structural integrity of the city above. And they don't want Stanhon to just fall through into the old city when this gigantic statue starts taking out pillars and things. So your task, should you choose to accept it, changes the slide. Your task, should you choose to accept it, is to infiltrate Steinhorn, find your way into the underground, and find and subdue this gigantic living statue thing.
So does that sound like something you can do? Does that sound like something that is a task for Raoul? Or maybe you're not up to the task and maybe I find somebody else. Squeaky but deep, squeaky and Spanish. Hola, ¿cómo estás? I need a better on-ramp for my Spanish apparently, because I'm going straight back into French again. The Blue Steel Troop, the Blues Steel Group. I heard they can turn both ways. I mean, I wouldn't be so sure. The leader is a young man, human man called Lagan, very confident and sure of himself. But I do not get the impression that he's someone that we would be able to seduce. I don't even know if they are still in Steinhorn at this point.
A few minutes in, Raoul's already minus his briefs.
I will penetrate deep into the city and make it submissive. I'll do whatever is desired. There's no man like a gnome man for this.
And she blushes. Raoul's always up to the task. I feel we should leave Raoul with himself.
This statue sounds no chance to Raoul.
Seducing a statue sounds marvelous. Alright, we're gonna roll a sexy check for you to see how well your seducing of Vixen goes in this moment with your puns. This is a regular, everyday sort of a thing for you, as it says, standard sexy battle wizard stuff with standard results. In fact, I'm going to go even easier than that. I'm going to set it at a difficulty of 3. I'm going to say it's even more standard than usual, and it's got very minor results. There's not much can change. All right, so with sexy, let's go with this one, and I reckon this is a pretty sexy dice. There you go. So you got 3 in sexy, which means we're going to roll 3d6. You need a 3 on the highest one or more. There we go. So we've got a 1, a 2, and a 5. If 5 is more than 3, that is a success. Well done. Let's see. So, if your highest dice beats the difficulty, you succeed, and you describe what happens. So, as you finalize this debriefing with Vixen, you seduce her, and as usual with the ways that these meetings wrap up, the two of you end up clothesless, and the gemstone that's shining the different slides of your debrief just keeps automatically sliding to the next ones, which get basically into more and more explicit images just to set the mood. She gets out another gemstone that turns on some Barry White, and you make the most of the last couple hours before Jarl Sirataint's castle finally arrives at the outskirts of the kingdom of Serentiel. Raoul is a socks on at all costs fella. Oh god. And your jacket, yeah, socks and jacket, obviously. She checks that you're up to the challenge. You have a good time. You find out what the fox says. And then Jarl comes knocking on the door. Boof, 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 boof. What do giants sound like? German, right? 1, 2, 3.
Yes, I do not mean to interrupt, of course. But we are almost there. We're technically over the waters of the Kingdom of Sarentil now. We're heading in from the north, and I've skirted around the northwestern portion of Corintil, and we're starting to approach the Haven Reef. It's the island on which the monastery is built. I'm going to skirt around to the west of Haven Reef and head down from the north. We should be arriving at the northern edges of the Drenwil Ranges anytime.
And she goes, thank you, Jarl. You know you don't have to stay outside, you know.
And he goes, yeah, I know, I just don't want to get myself distracted when I have steering to do.
Okay. So, anything you want to prepare in the last few minutes as you finish up here, and you are going to head down, you're going to be dropped off to where you're going? You leave a hat on and a winning smile. You're gonna polish up your whip and jacket. Fair enough. You grab your umbral whip. What does your umbral whip look like? Is it like a short riding crop kind of whip, or is it like a long, thin Indiana Jones wrapped leather kind of weaved leather situation? And is it made out of shadow, or does it just have shadow around it? Is it black as night? Is it like a black hole? No light can escape it. What are we looking at? It's long and it's hard. Indiana Jones one riding crop, long, thin, stiff leather. We took a waterproof sheet from the bed and put it in the pack. You take a waterproof sheet with you, fair enough. It's way too long for a small gnome to have. It's long with shadows interwoven. Maybe it's whatever you need it to be. Maybe it's made out of shadow, kind of like if you could take shadow and like condense it and like make shadow solid, and then turn that shadow into leather. And then that's made out of that, and then it can retract or it can grow if the need arises. Your whip can grow to whatever length you need it to be. It changes look depending on a need, like our accent. The whip and the accent change look. It's black leather that seems to almost avoid your eye when you try and look at it. I like that. Yeah. If you rub the whip in the right place, it grows. Yes. Okay, done. So you grab your Vanta black rope, your Vanta black whip. You've got your cool jacket. What is your cool jacket? Is it like a floor length, like matrix thing, or is it like a leather jacket, like a riding jacket? Has it got cool in the sense of like elbow, like tweed and elbow patches? Are you like a sexy what's it called? Like a sexy professor vibe? Is it cool because you've got like patches of all the places you've gone, like stitched to it? A James Dean biker jacket, a sparkly jacket, long ankle low black leather jacket, a short jacket on the nose, just a belt. Disco back and sequined labels, Jesus. Greaser jacket. It's long, it's too long for a gnome, but we pull it off. A motorcycle jacket, black biker jacket, velvet elbow patches, pilot's jacket, leather, always leather. Most people go with some kind of tight biker leather jacket or something. Okay, we're going with you can headcanon it, but it's somewhere in the vicinity of black leather jacket. The length is, I guess, up to you. Cool. So you get yourself ready. You grab the waterproof tarp from the bed. You grab the you don't want a tarp. You want a splash blanket. You want to grab yourself a splash blanket, a waterproof tarp as well, just in case. You've got your black leather jacket. You've got you put your clothes on last. You do all of that just like swinging free until you eventually get yourself some pants on. Right, I'm ready to go. Finally put pants on. You put your boots on. Probably goes with the jacket, like biker boots. Have you got any accessories? Do you have ring? Do you wear rings? Do you have braces? Do you have leather cuffs? You got a collar? Do you wear a hat of any kind? Sunglasses? A kilt? Okay, you wear a kilt. Why not? For Rafe and also for easy access. Yeah. A fanny pack. Fanny pack. Earring. Just one earring. Loopy earring. Studded. Several. Nose ring. Septum piercing. Eyebrow. Lip. Tongue. Where are we pierced? Collar. Pocket watch. Collar to go with the whip. Studded. You want to go? Are you going like full fucking S&M appearance? Like you want to blend in? Remember. Shiny brush to keep our hair on style, like what's his face, like Fonzie. Pierced tongue for sure. Gold necklace, large round medallion hanging in our chest hair. Sure, we'll go like 70s with it. Kilts do go with a fanny pack called a kilt pouch or a sporran. So you've got a kilt and a sporran. Okay, yeah. I mean, you're well travelled, so you've been to the area where you might have picked up Scottish culture. Maybe the Kelton sporran was given to you as like a thank you from someone that you saved. Guy liner, okay. Just all of the piercing so it looks as studded leather armor. The magical tongue ring. The only effect, it can buzz when it's needed. Just activate it. Put it between your teeth. Rock gnome has a gemstone in the ear. Okay, so we're going with guy liner. Everybody's agreed on guy liner. So you wear guy liner. You got a tongue piercing. A lot of people are saying that you can activate to buzz. You got a gemstone in your ear. You're in a kilt and sporran, a biker jacket, no shirt, a gold medallion with a medallion hanging in the chest hair. All right, cool. Got it. That's what you look like. You're ready to go. You go down to the disembarkant. Yeah, you go to the disembarkment room. The shoot. You go to the ejection room to get ejaculated out of the castle into the land below. And when you're ready, you give the wink and the finger guns to Vixen, and she pulls a lever, and the trapdoor opens beneath you, and it drops you out from a floating castle that is above the city of. Well, it's above the. Because the city would obviously notice a massive fucking floating castle right above them. So you're a little bit to the north of that. You're in the Drenwheel Ranges. And that's the mountain range that is not too far from Staunhorn. So your first problem is going to be... Well, your very first problem is going to be land safely. Your second problem is going to be get to the city through the mountain range. So you fall from the sky. Your jacket whips out behind you as you fall. Your hair's whipping out. What does your hair look like as a gnome? Have you got like long braids, or is it short? Is it studded? Have you got cornrows? What's your hair like? You got dreadlocks. Flashing everyone below us. The kilt is just dreadlocks, mohawk. Mohawk's pretty cool. Long red hair. Fabio hair. The Fonz, just beautiful Fonz hair. Hey. Long multicolored hair. Man, you guys are nowhere near agreement on this one. Every person's got different hair plugs. Flowing hair and then dreaded below the neck. Oh, dreaded chest hair. Dreadlock chest hair. Fabio, Fonz, mullet. Mullet's not sexy. Ugh. Fonz hair. Alright, so we're going Fonz, Fabio, we'll put this to a poll. Fonz hair, Fabio hair, mullet hair, dreadlock hair, or multicolored. I suppose we could do multicolored with those things. Mohawk. Alright, those are the options. See if I can remember them. Making such important decisions. Yeah, for sure. 33% of the vote saying Mohawk, with 26% saying Fonz and Fabio. Alright, I'm going to put those are pretty much 33% each, so I'm just going to put it to a roll. We'll go 1, 2 Mohawk, 3, 4 Fonz, 5, 6 Fabio, 5, 6, so that's 5. That is Fabio. You've got Fabio hair. Just like luxurious, like you're out of a bloody shampoo commercial. You got your Fabio hair. What color is it? Is it black or is it multi? Is it black? Is it like a single solid color? Is it like multicolored or is it like crazy color? Like have you dyed it? Is it red, like bright red, blue, ginger? Let's put this to a poll immediately. All right, poll. Let's go. Black, brunette, blonde, ginge. Or artificial, or multicolored, or colourful. Alright, most people saying ginger followed by colourful or black. Let's see, that's going to be a. Let's give that let's give one of those a. Okay, so it's going to be. We'll go. A lot of people wanting ginger or colourful, so we'll say red. We'll say what your red hair. So you've got a you've got red hair, whether that's artificial or not. You've got red hair that's Fabio hair, blowing in the wind. You just got your arms out as you're falling without a parachute towards the Drenwheel Rangers. As you fall as well, you're used to this method of disembarking from the floating castle, from Jarl Sirataint's castle. But what hits you is how cold it is, and you realise, oh yeah, it's winter here. The last job you were on was in the northern hemisphere of the world, where it is currently summer. But now you are in the middle of winter, which is in the southern hemisphere, and it's goddamn cold because you're not wearing anything under this kilt, and you're not wearing anything under your jacket. You're just wearing a kilt and a jacket and a medallion that's kind of flapping and getting tangled in the hair. So the first, I should have worn pants. So the first thing you do, chest hair blowing in the wind. Yes. So the first check to make is how are you going to land? How are you going to land safely? What do you do? Shit, shrinkage. What do you suggest, everybody? Ready to cut glass. The jacket's open to the side. You're going to use wizards to try and make an air cushion. Well, remember your wizard school of magic is the law of light. So your magic all has something to do with light magic. You could try and seduce the ground, obviously. I literally have been in a sexy battle wizards game where somebody did that. Fancy's way? What did Fancy say? Oh, Fancy said like the appear in a puff of light or something, right? Just like disappear from where you are. When you get close enough, just like disappear into light and appear on the ground. That could work. That would be your wizard. That would be a wizard roll. You have 2d6 in wizard. I'm going to say that landing here, it's just standard sexy battle wizard stuff with standard results. This is going to be a DC of 4. So you need to roll and get a 4 or more. You do a sexy 3-point landing. Charm the birds to help you float down. Ooh, that could work. Use our whip to grab onto the top of a tree. That would be a battle check. Use the kilt as a parasol. Just, what check would that be? Not sure which of those that would be. Battle, because it's like the strength to hold out the kilt against the wind. Use the magic to make a cool sexy hand shadow to catch us. With using that law of light, using shadow and light, and it's a gigantic hand catches. Just missed the ground entirely. That's called going into orbit. You're like whip grabbing a horizontal branch. Alright, so we're going to have to put this to a poll. 1 minute to decide. You're seeing the ground rushing up beneath you. You're seeing the mountains covered in snow. It's a winter time, so there's lots of snow in the mountains. You've also been debriefed as part of that debrief that there's going to be orcs there as well. We flash back temporarily to the middle of coitus with Vixen. She was still actually doing her job of debriefing you while you're going down on her, and she's like, also there's a bunch of orc tribes up in the mountains as well, by the way. She's like trying to turn it into sexy talk, like, oh, you're so small, maybe you can avoid the orc tribes that are battling each other up there in the mountains. They're very dangerous, you know. they're very dangerous, and they come in very different sizes and shapes and cultures. And she's telling you all about the different orc tribes, just in case that comes into play. All right, 63% of the vote deciding we're just going to commit to it. Sexy 3-point landing. You know that as a gnome, you're relatively small and light, and that means that your terminal velocity is a lot slower than a lot of larger races, humans and things. And so while you can take fall damage, you tend to take a lot less because you're so small. You know that with the air resistance of your kilt on the bottom half, your jacket on the top half, and your hair on the very top, you've got quite a lot of drag, which means that you are falling quite small. Falling quite slow, and then on top of all that, you do a quick analysis and you think there's quite a heavy snowfall right around here. I can just flump down into a big snowdrift and just land perfectly sexy. So you commit to it, arms out to slow yourself down, and then just at the last second you bring your arms around to do a sexy 3-point landing. Let's see how sexy it is. We're going to roll 3d6. We need a 4 or more on one of them. Let's find out. That is a 1, a 2, and a 6. 6 is a success. So sure enough, boom, right down into the snow. It looks for a couple of frames. Like you slow it right down. You come into frame at the top in like a spread eagle fashion. You immediately flip yourself into a 3-point knee landing. And as you go down, it looks super cool. You hit the top of the snow, and for a couple of frames, it looks super cool. And then you just disappear into the snowdrift entirely. And then the snow just kind of like cracks, like you've just triggered a small avalanche. And the snow at the front of the camera just kind of like, and then just slides off like one of those videos of people like de-snowing roofs that are super satisfying. When they get the shovel right under it and it all just slides off all as one big lump. Does like that. It slides off and it just leaves you in like this clean crevice of snow, just right down there. And then you look up and just like toss the snow-covered hair out of your face. And then start shivering like fuck because you're very underdressed for such a weather. Just this light starts to shine out from you to try and keep you warmer, I guess. Alright, so you are up in the mountains, not well dressed for this situation, in the middle of winter, and you need to find the city that you are going to. What do? But we do have a lot of body hair, that's true. Your chest hair is helping. But you're also very small, which means that your volume to surface area ratio is pretty whack for someone trying to retain body heat. There's a reason that animals that live in cold climates tend to be quite large. Squirrels eating nuts in tree watches with awe, mouth opened, a small tear in the corner of its eye as the most sexy thing it's ever seen appears before it. Indeed, exactly that. We just sexy the cold away, we're too hot. We're too cold for that. No, we're too hot to be cold. The snow has gone right up our kill. It really has, yes. It looks really cool, and then a moment later you're like, fuck, it's cold. Holy shit, it's cold up there. Okay, you're going to try and find someone to warm us up. Not up here in the mountains, you won't, unless you look for unless you're looking for one of the orc clans that you heard about. We use light magic to cast a permanent warmth glow on ourselves. We can certainly try. Let's give that a go, shall we? So, your school of magic, you're going to use the light magic to try and because with light comes heat, as far as you understand. You're trying to basically use your light magic to make an incandescent bulb, which before the days of energy efficient bulbs and LEDs, incandescent bulbs was the main go-to for light, and they work better as heaters than they do as they transfer more of their energy into heat than they do into light. And so you're trying to make an incandescent bulb to keep yourself warm that just kind of like floats alongside you, I guess, or like around you like Christmas lights. Alright, a wizard check using your school of magic. So 2d6, you've got a 3 and a 2. That is both a failure. So you are going to fail to create this incandescent bulb, which means you are going to take a stress for failing, and you're going to take a determination for failing as well. And then I get to describe something bad that happens, and then we check, is your current stress higher than the number you rolled? Boop. You currently got a 1 in stress now. 1 is not higher than 3, so you don't explode. But you try to summon the light magic to create like incandescent bulbs to keep you warm with this warm glow that comes from it. Maybe you're trying to put like incandescent bulbs inside of the jacket so that you glow as well. And unfortunately, the bulb just kind of like shatters, and some like glass hits you in the face. You got some minor cuts from the glass shattering against you. You see blood splatter across the snow. One of the downsides of this then is that you are going to, obviously that's representing of the stress that you take, the damage. But then the downside from this is that you're going to be dripping blood very sporadically as you travel through this otherwise pristine white environment. And if something is going to be following you or tracking you, or there's dangers in the area, they're going to have an easier time of doing so. That's your sort of bad event from that failing. You flashbang yourself from the surrounding snow. Yeah. Fuck, it's bright. God damn, it's so bright. What do you do? What are you trying to do now? You still going to try and get warm? Chicks dig scars. Yeah, scars are sexy, but until it heals over, it's not so sexy. Zip our jacket up. Okay, yeah. You're like, okay, it's not as sexy, but let's actually give myself a. Okay, that's going to help. You zip the jacket up. Maybe there's like a Maybe there's like a drawstring on the bottom of your kilt that you can kind of like pull it in a little bit, make it a little less flappy. Kind of pull that in a bit. Or tuck it between the legs as you walk. All right, you're going to start walking in a direction, trying to find this city. Which direction are you going? How are you going to give yourself the best chance of success at finding the city and avoiding dangers in order to get there? Pick up a snowball, ice our injured cheek. We don't need swelling, distracting from sexiness. Yeah, okay. You apply an ice pack. Easy enough done. A sexy check to convince the blood to move elsewhere. If we move the blood elsewhere in our body, away from the head. It's like Robin Williams says. He goes, the problem with men is they've got a brain and a dick, but only enough blood to run one at a time. You like focus your blood to move somewhere else, and it's away from your face. Okay, you look around for clues as to where we landed and where the city is. Alright, so easy enough done without needing to make a check for this because it's not sexy battle or wizard. You get a pretty good impression of like the direction your castle was going, and you were heading towards the city, so you go in the direction that the castle is going. Also the castle, we flash back to this moment in the debriefing when let's say you're bent over the desk and she's behind you with your kilt raised, and as she's doing her thing, she's also like, oh, so when we're finished, when you're finished, the pickup location will be back up in the mountains, by the way. Just make your way back to wherever you dropped off, and we'll get you from there. And you're like, yep, no worries. So are we taking a traditional kilt with yards and yards of material, or the modern kilt? We can now vote traditional kilt so that you've got more coverage. Got to get Raoul Jr. out of the snow. It's the last place you want frostbite. So you have failed to keep yourself warm. That's essentially taking the stress, but you have got the determination to like must succeed. You're trudging through the snow with your tiny little gnome legs. You're heading towards the city in the direction that you know it to be. The next problem you're going to face is, as you were warned, there are orc clans up here in the mountain range, and they are dangerous. They're quite aggressive and hostile. And what's more is what she told you in the debrief, while her mouth wasn't full, is that the orc clans quite often during winter or in the lead up to winter, they attack Stanhon because Stanhon's the only real safe route out of the mountains. There's a lot of cliff faces, there's a lot of sheer faces, there's lots of valleys that are unstable, and so getting down from the Drenwheel Ranges into the land proper is pretty difficult in Drenwheel. So the one sort of safest route up and down is through the city of Stanhon, and so periodically, almost every winter, the orcs attack Stanhon to try and force their way down into the mainland in order to survive the winter. Almost every year they are repelled and forced to retreat. This year, however, they got two of the clans, in a very strange circumstance, actually worked together. The Blood Dwellers, who are mages that use... the orcs that use magic, blood magic, and the Tuskers, which are orcs that put a lot of pride into using their tusks as weapons and things like that. They actually worked together to attack the town of Stanhon. Thankfully, the Blue Steel Troop was in town at the time and helped the city of Stanhon to repel them one more time, which means that they are furious. There's a lot of inter-party dynamics of the two clans warring, and they're all in the area of Stanhon. So you were warned of that while you had your mouth full, and we flash back to this moment. You know that that's the case, and sure enough, as you are trudging through the snow, dripping blood behind you, you see evidence of an orc, a temporary orc settlement, like a small selection of yurts and houses and wagons being pulled by gigantic aurochs, like ancient cows, essentially. What do you do? Are you going to try and get around them, like sneak around them? Are you going to try and fight your way through? Are you going to try and seduce some orcs getting through here? Are you going to try and use some light things to like blind them, get past that way? Are you going to try and like blink past them with using light magic? Are you going to try and seduce one of the aurochs to let you ride it so that you can ride past? There's infinite choices. What do you want to do? I'm not used to not making you roll for things like investigation and perception and stuff. I think this is a battle thing, I think it's a battle thing. I'm just going to make an executive decision for you. A battle thing, there's not really a fail-success thing here, so you're not going to gain or lose stress from it. I just want to know how much you know, whether you can tell which of the orc clans this is. 3. With a 3, you can probably tell that this is one of the Blood Dweller clan. The Blood Dweller clan are a lot smaller and a lot less physically capable, like a lot less martial prowess to them, and they use they have a whole caste system in the Blood Dweller clan where they breed certain people in sort of like a slave kind of a way. They breed certain people within their orc clan, but unlike slaves, they treat them incredibly well, and they want for nothing because they are bred for sacrifice. And so it is a huge honour to be one of these people. Can't remember what they're called off the top of my head now. I used to know this back when I was actually in this arc of the campaign with the Blue Steel Troop. But their sacrifices are bred to be incredibly hardy and have lots of like constitution, lots of hit points essentially, but they do nothing else. And then when the time is needed, they bring out one of these sacrifices and they can inflict pain and wounds on them in order to cast certain magic spells and things. If you want to see the Blood Dwellers in action, in an actual fight in a D&D game, I used them in the one-shot, I can't remember what it's called, Swords and Seeking the Sword or something. The thing where Dag was a singing sword for a GaryCon one-shot one time. They went up against some Blood Dwellers. So you know that they are Blood Dwellers, blood-dwelling orcs. What is it? What is our way past? We can toboggan past them in the sheet. That sounds fun. Sounds pretty sexy too. We can seduce the orcs. Totes use light to snowblind them. We could seduce them and get an orc buddy to warm us up with their blood magic. Convince the orcs that we are recruiting for a brothel and want them to join. Get a sexy warband going. Use a tarp as a sleigh and make blinding light while riding past them on the mountain. That feels like an all 3 things. That's like definite battle elements with some sexy sleigh and blinding them with your light magic. We could do light magic to go invisible. I'd allow that. Yeah, if you succeed, you can use light magic to bend the light around you so that the light coming from behind bends around you and to their eyes, and for all purposes you look invisible. Absolutely. If we seduce the orcs, I feel like that should be some stress relief. There is no relieving stress in this game other than dying. Bending light magic to disguise ourselves. There's a ton of it with the amount of light reflecting snow around. Indeed. Seduce our way through if there's not too many. There's like a dozen, let's say. That should be sexy cool and walk around the camp avoiding it completely. Tell you what we'll do. We will go with the orcs superstitious? Very. The Blood Dwellers incredibly superstitious. They worship a whole pantheon of orc gods essentially. Aren't we dripping blood? They could see that easily. They could pretend. Well, they could. They are blood dwellers. There's a lot of blood around. Each of them uses blood as like face paints and things. They use blood in their magic, in their potions. There's a lot of spilling of blood. So a few more drops of blood through a blood dweller's camp might go amiss. All right, let's just put it to a poll and ask question. Are we going to use sexy? Are we going to use battle? Or are we going to use wizard? And I know that there is a sort of a metagamey kind of incentive to be like, let's always use the one that's best for us. But there's some fun things to be had when you fail, remember? Wizard check, see if we know enough about their pantheon, to see if we can convince them that we're the embodiments of one of their gods. I will say that you would know that they would not fall for that, because you're a gnome. And their gods, being that they're like very war focused, their gods are all fucking huge jacked tank fuckers, even like the gods of birth and gods of healing and stuff. Alright, almost, well not quite, but almost unanimous, 87% of you wanting to use the wizard's check to get past. So we will roll the wizard's check and then we will see how are you going to do it. Or do I want to get the general vibe, the general flavour, and then we'll describe as it goes. Yeah, we'll do that way. So you're going to use your wizard stat to get past them. What's your light magic? How is it going to go? Are we going to do the invisibility thing? Is that kind of what everybody's feeling? Or are we going to use light magic to like poof into a poof of light? Or are we going to use light magic to try and blind them, flashbang them with the snow blindness, and then run past them? What's the light magic that we're using? Using light as a falling star and then go around the other side. Oh yeah, so light like a flare falling to the ground and they're all like, whoa, and then we circumvent them. Blind them, distract them, go invisible, or something else. What do we think? Hide. I mean, hide in the shadows. You're just going to hide there and you're not going to get past them. You're just going to be like, I'm in the shadows. Until they move on, I guess. Bright light while we go invisible. All right. Yeah, why not? Why not both? Why not both? Yeah, that's a good question. Sparrow, why not both? All right, we've got 2d6. Let's go this one and this one. Why not? We need what's the consequence of failing? Consequence of success here. I think I'm going to set this. I think this is pretty standard stuff. You're going to get a DC of 4.
My goodness, what a raunchy game. Well, that was actually only the first half, or foreplay, if you will. If you want to be there for, let's say, the climax, YouTube members actually get to see it early. So consider supporting me through YouTube membership or through Patreon. Otherwise, see you here next time.